Hello, I am back. Now, I don't know why my internet isn't working properly there. It's a bit strange. So hopefully you guys can find the new one. Yes, I know it's okay, right. I think people have found it. It's really annoying when this happens. Hopefully other people find it. It's really, really annoying that it stopped working. So I'm hoping that all of you who were here can find it again, because it's becoming a little bit silly, this. There's no reason for it not to be working properly. Everything is connected well. I know there's one person watching, and um, hopefully more people join. It's just really annoying. Yeah. Okay, so unfortunately, there were people watching. Unfortunately, it cut off, and now let's see if we can find, if they can find it again. Let's see. Okay. No, I don't think that's going to happen. Anyway, we'll see. Okay, so yeah, unfortunately, there was a bit of a mistake. There was a connection problem. I don't know why. If there is another connection problem, I will have to look. I'll have to try and fix it, and maybe we end up doing this lesson tomorrow. It would be really disappointing if we have to do this lesson tomorrow. There's no reason for the internet not to be working. Okay, we've got some people finding their way back to this one. Hopefully more people do as well. Now, from what I can see is everything is working. So I don't see why the internet just decided to stop. And hopefully those who were watching before are able to find this link and return. Hi, Stefano. Great to see you back. Thank you for finding your way back here. It's really annoying that everything stopped working for me. Okay, so I think we've got the majority of, we're slowly getting the people who were watching before back. But like I said, I'm really sorry about that. I don't know why the connection cut. I guess what I'll have to do is, I'll tell you what, if it cuts again, then we're going to have to do this lesson tomorrow, and I'm going to have to try and think why the internet cut for me, because I have very good internet here. Okay, so direct and indirect question forms. This is what we're looking at. So we have a question, for example, what's your name? Then we have an indirect question, which is, can I ask what's your name? Okay, so what you need to know is direct question forms, you go straight in with your what question, your WH question. So what, where, who, why, when. You can also go in with your questions of do, are, is, were, was. So you go straight for your verbs. An indirect question form is when you put a phrase, a bit of language before your actual direct question. So we've got, for example, if I want to ask directly, I could say direct question, for example, would be, what do you do? Okay, so what is your job? What is your job? Okay, so that is a direct question. Then indirect questions would be, can I ask, what do you do? Or, let's see, what is your job? Would you mind telling me what your job is? So indirect question forms, indirect questions is a are long questions. We make our question longer because they are more polite. So then we need to think, well, what is the situation? So here we need to think, when do we need to be polite and when can we be blunt? So you've got blunt, which means direct questions. And then we've got being very polite, which is indirect questions. So blunt, by the way, is you're not going to be too polite. You're going to ask your question. You're not going to worry about if you're being polite or not. You might still try to be polite, but you just want to ask your question. You're not thinking of how to be polite. So we need to think, when is it okay to be direct? When is it not okay to be direct? Because there's certain questions where we don't need to be indirect. So for example, if I ask, what's your name? And we're at a party, I don't need to be really polite. I can just say, what's your name? That's fine. However, if I'm in a professional environment and you're talking to someone and you don't know their name and you've spoken for a while, then you might decide, okay, I'm going to go with, can I ask, what's your name? Okay, so it's situation dependent. We need to think of the situation. So if it's, let's say, a party, for example, we'll go with more direct questions. If it's a meeting, like a business work meeting, then we're more likely to go with indirect. Okay, so what I'd like you guys to do is, I'm going to tell you some topics. I'm going to write some topics, and I want you to tell me, they're going to be at a party to begin with, and I'm going to ask you guys to decide if these questions need to be asked direct or indirect. As an idea, the more sensitive the topic is, the more likely it needs to be direct. Now, when I say sensitive, I mean emotions might be involved in the question and in the answer. So let's start off. I'm going to start off by saying, okay, when we're talking about, okay, we're at a party, okay, and at this point, we're talking about names, okay, locations, and people you know. Okay, so friends, basically. If you're talking about, okay, what's your name, where do you live, who else do you know at this party, that sort of thing. Do you think you need to be direct or indirect with your question? Do you need to be really, really polite, or can you just go with a direct question? So let me know in the live chat. Do you need to be? Do you think these questions are indirect or direct? Do you say, what's your name? Or do you say, can I ask, what's your name? So this is what we're thinking about here. So let me know in the live chat. What do you think? What can we do? Are we saying... So remember, guys, direct question simply means you go straight in with your main question, like what, who, where. Indirect is when you're using some words before your question, such as, can I ask, I hope you don't mind me asking, but what is your name? So I suppose I may go straight enough to the direct question. Yeah, Stefano, that is correct. When you're talking about names, locations, and people you know, that's when you are going to use direct questions. You will say, for example, what's your name? Where are you from? Do you know Steve? Okay, so all of these are direct questions because these are just at the party. Okay, let's think about topics now at a party. Do you think you can ask these questions direct or indirect? Okay, so Maria, might I know your name? Might I know your name? That's a very, very polite way of asking what's your name. Because you're starting your sentence with a modal verb might, there's a lot of things to do with this that are very similar to an indirect question, because a lot of indirect question forms would be with might. But this is extremely polite. Okay, but I like what I like what you're doing there, Maria. So next things, okay. If we're talking about general topics, okay, general topics such as food, drink, music, films, and holidays. Again, do you think you need to be direct or do you think you need to be indirect? So effectively, which question form makes more sense when talking about these topics? If it's direct, you would say, for instance, do you like curry? Do you like pizza, for example? An indirect, for example, would be if you said indirect. Can I ask, do you like curry? Okay. So which one do you think makes more sense? Can you just ask someone, do you like curry? Do you like pizza? Yes, I would remain in direct questions. Exactly, Stefano. That's all you need to do, remain in direct questions. The only occasion, if you're going to jump into an indirect question, is if you're going to ask a personal question. So now let's look at these. Okay, so again, direct or indirect, and we'll have a little look. So personal questions about I use direct questions just with present simple. In general, I suppose we can use direct questions, says Leondina. So Maria, you can use direct questions with past simple, present simple, and future simple. It doesn't matter what tense. As for you, Leondina, in general, I suppose we can use direct questions. You are correct. Now, we're now going to look at personal questions about this. Personal questions about health, friends, relationships, and family. Now, remember, the important thing here is personal questions. So which one makes more sense? Okay, so is it better to ask, for instance, are you allergic to milk? Can I ask, do you have any allergies? Now, this one might be a little bit of a bit of both, actually, when I come to think of it. Do you have any allergies? So it's better indirect question, Leondina says. Yeah, when it comes to personal questions, you want to go with indirect questions. They're a little bit more polite. Now, allergies, that's a bit of both. It depends how how comfortable you feel with the person. But it depends. They might be sensitive about their allergies, so that's why you might go with an indirect question. A better thing is, for instance, with relationships. Imagine this question, for example. Um, how did she break up with you? So that's a really personal question. Someone just broke up with someone. That's a direct question. An indirect question would be, for instance, I hope you don't mind me asking, but what happened? Now, this is a really good example. So when you're talking about a personal question, you're asking a personal question. This is what I'm talking about, an indirect question. So indirect question, Maria, is when we first say permission using can. Yeah, you are asking permission, and we don't have to use can. I'm going to show you some examples, some different ones we can use. Stefano says, I guess the more questions are going be personal, the more likely my questions should going to be, you're going to have to probably go with either, I think here you don't need should in that question, are going to be indirect. Yeah, the more personal, the more indirect the question form should be. So with a relationship, you can use, I hope you don't mind me asking, but what happened? And notice the second part of my question is, how did she break up? No, I'm saying, what happened? It's more general, and I'm allowing the person to say as much as they feel comfortable saying. I'm not asking them for detail that is too personal. So, indirect question forms, how does this work? Okay, so you've got the beginning. So we can use things like, can I ask? Then you've got your direct question. I hope you don't mind me asking, but blah 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 blah. I hope you don't mind me asking is a polite way of saying I hope it's okay asking. Okay, is it okay to ask? Is it okay to ask? That's what we're really saying with this type of sentence. Another one would be, would you mind? Then we've got to have to. Then we're going to have a verb here. So, and whatever verb we use, we're going to use verb plus ing. So, would you mind telling me? Would you mind telling me what happened? For example, this is a good one. So, can I ask what happened? I hope you don't mind me asking, but what happened? Would you mind telling me what happened? And let's go with one more, which would be, I know it's none of my business, but can I ask blah, blah, blah. This one is two. This is really indirect. You've got, I know it's none of my business, but can I ask? Okay, so these are just some indirect question forms you can use before your question. Intonation, really, really important because this is with meaning. So listen to how I say it. Can I ask? I hope you don't mind me asking. Would you mind? Would you mind telling me what happened? Would you mind telling me what happened? Okay. Could I ask you what happened? Could I ask? What I would say? Could I ask what happened? I don't need you with if I'm saying could I ask? Could I ask you what happened? Okay, I think if you're going to write that, just put a comma between you and what. You, comma, what. You, if the person knows you are asking them and just talking to them, then you probably don't need you though. Okay. So, intonation. Can I ask? 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 I hope you don't mind me asking. I hope you don't mind me asking. So, what am I looking at here? Can I ask? Ask is going to be the strongest word, and you need to go down with your intonation. So you go up and down. So, can I ask? Can I ask? Actually, that's the second one sounds better. Can I ask? Can I ask? What happened? Take a pause. Okay, don't say it too quickly. If you say this too quickly, the meaning is lost. So, can I ask? Can I ask? What happened? Now, next one. I hope you don't mind me asking. Okay, what's happening here? I hope you don't mind me asking, asking, asking. I hope you don't mind me asking. This is really important. You slow down your pronunciation when you are stressing the words. And the three main words you need to stress in this one: hope, mind, asking, because you are asking permission. Next one, would you mind? So, would you mind telling me? Would you mind telling me? So, we've got, would you mind telling me what happened? Okay, so I spelled happened wrong. So we got, would you mind telling me? 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 Telling me. Telling me. Okay, so mind telling me. Mind telling me. So we go up on mind, we stay high on tell, and from ing we go ing me, and we go down. And that is how we can do this. And last one is obviously, I know it's none of my business. Okay, so I know it's none of my business. Okay, so this is what we're doing again. We're stressing no, none, and biz in business. So I know it's none of my business. I know it's none of my business. Can I ask you? And that's how we can go about doing it. That's how we can go about doing it. Okay, so this is really important, and this is how you can ask personal questions. Be polite. So Maria says, for example, can I say I would like to telling you don't see you again is correct? I would like to telling you don't see you again is correct. Maria, can you try writing that again? I'm trying to think what you mean. For example, can I say, I would like to tell you I don't see you again? Okay, so do you mean I would like to tell you I don't want to see you again? Do you mean B, which is, for example, can I say, would you, I would like don't see you again. Okay, if that's the case, then you're saying, I don't want to see you again. Okay, so that's what you really want to say. You wouldn't go with would, you say, I don't want to see you again. Now, how to say this politely? This isn't a question. This is a statement. But if you want to say this politely, you can go with there is a way of going with would, actually, and it's like this. Okay. If you don't mind me saying, you're going to have to turn this into a conditional. If you don't mind me saying, it would be best if we don't see each other again, or for a while. So if you want to give bad news, you can give bad news in an indirect way. That is a separate lesson, and I'll do that next week. But this is an example, and you have to use conditionals. So if you don't mind me saying, so this is you giving your opinion. It would be best if we don't see each other again. This is the type of language you can use if you are breaking up with someone. But yes, I think the answers with an indirect answer is a lesson in itself, and I can dedicate a lesson to that. But going back to questions, I'm now going to give you guys a chance here. I'm going to ask you to try and turn these direct questions into indirect questions. So, for example, if I write, let's say if I write, did she break up with you? Okay, let's say I want to ask this question. You guys have to rewrite this question, and you would rewrite the question with, for instance, can I ask what happened? Okay, so we've taken a direct question and we've turned it into an indirect question. So that's what we're trying to do. Okay, so I'm now going to write a direct question, and you guys need to change it and make it indirect. So let's have a go and see how we do. So let's start off with, okay, so it's a bit personal. Did you lose your job? Did you lose your job? And we can ask this, we can say, did you get fired? Did you get sacked? Did you lose your job? Okay, so that's the question. Did you lose your job? We want to ask this. This is personal. It's probably quite sensitive. The person might be sad, angry, upset, disappointed. So in order to find out this information, we need to write an indirect question. So Maria says, did you find a new options? No, not quite, not quite. You're going to have to go with one of these options to begin with, such as, can I ask? And then you ask your question. Maybe another one, you could go with, I hope you don't mind me asking, but okay. And there's also C. Yeah, I mean, those are just two good options to use. So don't forget, did you lose your job is the direct question. So would you mind telling me what's the matter with your job? Yes, Leondina, that's a really good way of asking an indirect question. So Maria, have a look at Leondina's sentence. This is a good example. I know you two are not in the same level, but you guys can learn from each other. So have a look at what Leondina wrote, because it's a good way to go with the question, would you mind telling me? That's a really good one to use, actually. Stefano says, if you don't mind me asking a question, but what happened to you at work? This is another good one. You've gone with a conditional structure, which is good. You probably don't need a question. You can probably shorten it to, if you don't mind me asking, but what happened to you at work? So you can probably you can probably end the first bit of that question at asking. So yes, that's a good question. Good, well done. Okay, let's ask a next one. Let's ask the next one. Okay, so did he? Ooh. Okay, big one here. Did he cheat on you? So just in case you guys don't know what I mean by cheat, meaning kiss or sleep with another person. Okay, so this is quite a sensitive question. Someone is very upset. It's about their boyfriend, for example. You can always turn it around. Maybe girlfriend. And yes, you can ask, okay, did the person cheat on you? How do you ask such a sensitive question indirectly? Again, you've got, would you mind telling me? That could be a good way to start your question. I hope you don't mind me asking. I hope you don't mind me asking, but that's another way you could go. Maria, cheat is like a joke, or what is the difference? No, cheat is a joke in like a card game. It's like in a card game. Now, Maria, what's the best way to explain cheat that I haven't done so already? Cheat would be, okay, John and Kate are boyfriend and girlfriend. But John kisses another girl named Anna. So John cheated on Kate. I think another word would be like broke her trust. I mean, that's another way of looking at it. Broke her trust. Leondina says, I hope you don't mind me asking, but what's going on with John? Yeah, Leondina, that's a good type of question you can go with. Stefano says, I know it's none of my business, but may I ask you if they were cheating on you? Oof. Oh, look, I think most of that, Stefano, is very, very good. Let's see. I think the danger here with that question is, in fact, the word cheat or cheating. That's a really dangerous word. And when you have strong words like that, that's when you might need to think of other synonyms. But most of that question is really good. And if you were to use that in real life, you could probably get away with it. But yeah, definitely think about the word cheat. But well done. So far, really good. Well done, guys. I have to say as well, I don't have water. I have to say, by the way, Maria, you're doing a really, really good job, by the way. Really good. You're doing well, because this is usually you learn this at a higher level. So Maria, you're doing really well. Excellent work. Leondina, I like what you're doing so far. And Stefano, you're definitely experimenting and playing around with the language, which is great. Now, let's go with another one, okay? And we're going to go with something sensitive, really sensitive here. Okay. Um, we're going to go with this, okay? We're going to go with political agenda. So we can substitute any of these things with a political agenda. So you guys are now going to try and rewrite this question in a sensitive way. So I'm just going to give you some examples, and you can choose which example you want to try and rewrite indirectly. Okay. Uh, are you? Okay. Upset? No, upset is sad, Maria. Upset is sad. It's another word for sad, and it's a good word to know. Okay, so upset. Upset is like sad. Okay, so just think about that. So you've got angry. I mean, if you're angry, then you're going to be really upset. So upset is sad, but if you say like really upset, then you're probably both sad and angry. So it depends if you have really in front of it. But feel free to choose one of the things I've put in here. Okay, I've gone with some, normal topics that get people talking. So, for instance, direct question: why are you upset over gay rights? Why are you angry over abortion? Why are you upset over Black Lives Matter? So, these are three really sensitive political topics, and you want to ask them, why are they upset? How do you ask this question? This is when you really need to know about using an indirect question. So here, this is political, but with politics, people can get emotional. So how do you ask your questions without where the person is going to ask you? And I've just put three popular topics to talk about that people do get upset about. So Maria says, okay, thank you. I feel upset with people discriminators. Oh, really close. Really, really close, Maria. With people who discriminate. You are so, so close. You are so close. You needed to go with the verb discriminate, but well done there, Maria. Leondina says, would you mind clearing me the reason why you are so upset over Black Lives Matter? You're really close. So would you mind? Okay, if you want to use clearing things up for me. So would you mind telling me clearing things, making things clear to me? Actually, yeah. Okay, so would you mind clearing a few things up for me as to why you are so upset over Black Lives Matter? Okay, that's how you do it. This is really difficult, by the way, but I like what you were going for there, Leondina. So you want to go with would you mind? So you got off to a good start. Clearing, yes. Clearing a few things up. Now, we need to know that clear up is a phrasal verb. Clearing up is also a phrasal verb. But sometimes, if we're talking about issues, we're going to use a few things. So would you mind clearing a few things up for me. Then in order to link that to why, you need to use as to why. Really difficult to get. That's quite difficult, but well done. Write that one down and then practice. Stefano says, would you be so kind to tell me the reason why you are so angry over abortion? Okay, that's a really good example of an indirect question where there is something really sensitive, a sensitive political issue that lots of people have lots of opinions about. So really, really well done. Excellent work. Bravo. Okay. So finally, we're going to now see how we can use this language in a professional environment. And you don't know what's happening, but there is a problem and you want to try, or you think it's your job to try and solve the problem. And how do we go about it? Okay, so direct question. Okay, could be I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you some examples of direct and bad questions. And I want you guys to give me examples of how you would try and ask this question indirectly and more politely, but still get the answer you want. So, okay, so you got 3 direct questions in the workplace. All of these 3 questions in a workplace are probably wrong. These are not good questions to ask. People will get upset and you can end up in a problem. So how can you ask these type of questions in a workplace where you can use an indirect question form? You can change the style of your question and still get the answer you want. I'm going to give you one example and then you guys can have a go at trying to give me some other examples. So for example, if I want to go with what did you do wrong, I might go with, for instance, I might go with, okay, I don't want to make it too long. I don't want to go with a long indirect question. I still want to be fairly quick. So you can see here, I've gone with a very quick, short, indirect question. Can I ask? And then I've gone straight in with, how did the mistake happen? You will see I've taken the pronoun out and I've made it a little bit more general. Maria says, I did give too much confidence. I did give too much confidence. I'm trying to think what you mean here. I did. I mean, if you go with confidence, you would probably go with have. Like, I did have too much confidence. I don't know what is the mind when you always be honest. I don't know what is the mind when you always be honest. What are you saying here? So I don't know what is the... Ah, I think I know what you mean. Okay, so I don't know what you are thinking when you are really honest. I think that would be a better way of saying it, Maria. So you can go with, I don't know what you are. When you fast trust, when you fast trust, when you fast trust. When you trust quickly, when you trust quickly, or when you trust people too quickly. That's how you can say that, by the way, Maria. But again, that wouldn't be a question. That would be a statement. So slightly different. Okay, guys. So we're coming to the end of today's lesson. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you enjoyed the lesson today. Stefano says, would you please help me out? Try to understand what was wrong with us. Okay, you're getting close there. Would you? Okay, you probably go with, would you please? Yeah, you could go. Would you please help me? I would go straight with understand here. Understand what went wrong. I think that would be the best way you could ask that question, Stefano. Would you? Would you? You have to take a pause between please. So you would say, would you please help me understand what went wrong? Now, if you say it like that, that will make sense. So take a bit of a pause. Maria says, thanks. Have a nice afternoon. You too, Maria. And well done today, Maria. You did a really good job. This stuff you learn at a higher level, but you're doing really, really well. So well done. Stefano, thank you for your contribution today. I thought you did well. Irina, thank you very much for the lesson. You're welcome, Irina. Well done. Thank you very much for joining. Leandina, you too, thank you very much for joining today and with some of your good answers as well. So thank you to everyone who participated today. Sorry about the confusion at the beginning with my poor connection. I don't know why. Have a lovely afternoon. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you want to find out more about lessons at AM, make sure you click on the links to our site in the description. And I'll be back tomorrow, same time, 4 o'clock. So thank you very much, everyone. Have a wonderful evening and see you tomorrow, either at school or on YouTube. You're welcome. Have a great afternoon. And thank you for all your fantastic work in the live chat. Bye for now.